Hello and welcome, you're listening to Metal Verbalizers, and I am Johan. Today I will verbalize the band Bütcher. Bütcher is a black thrash / speed metal band from Belgium. The band was formed in 2003, but were unfortunately split up. However, in 2017 marked the moment when a band kind of became, in a way, what they are today. Bütcher observed that around 2003, when the band was originally formed, there were a lot of death metal and black metal bands where the crowd were, kind of mostly standing with their arms crossed and in a way didn't seem to really enjoy the music in the same way. But Bütcher, however, wanted to change this. They wanted to kind of go against this trend, and they took a more speed metal approach to things. And what they wanted to achieve basically was that they wanted to encourage the kind of like headbanging and encourage the crowd to like scream along with the lyrics and stuff like that, and in a way like really feel the music and really feel that rock and roll vibe and have a great time basically. So that was kind of the vibe and the kind of like approach that Bütcher was striving for. And I mean, if you're familiar with how Bütcher sounds, they kind of like, or well, they really like if you consider like their genre, like the kind of like black thrash, black / speed metal thing, you probably wouldn't be very surprised when I tell you that Bütcher is very influenced by a lot of 80s and 90s bands such as Slayer, Celtic Frost, Razor, Niflheim, Whiplash, Venom, Merciful Fate, Exciter, etc. So it's like if I were kind of like make some type of summarize of that, it's like if you basically like those kind of bands, you would definitely like Bütcher, or even if I would give you a few like more modern examples, so to speak, that would be like Vulture, Antichrist, Destructo, Schizophrenia, Knife, Slaughter Messiah, etc. If you like really any of these bands that I've mentioned now, then you will definitely like Bütcher, and you should absolutely check out Bütcher. The image that Bütcher is going for is kind of a denim leather spikes, in the kind of like in a sort of similar vein, I would say, as bands like Venom and Bathory, but Bütcher kind of like it's kind of taking that, but at least a few steps further. It's like for example, a big difference from like Venom and Bathory, for example, that really shows that, I think, is that Bütcher also performs with a type of face paint, or corpse paint, if you will. However, their type is the kind of like the black around the eyes and then a lot of blood and stuff. It's like it's not the kind of classic corpse paint with the white paint that I would say most black metal bands tend to use. The way that Bütcher's face paint looks, I think I would rather compare it to those bands like Mystifier, or even Sarcophago, and even a little bit Watain, with the blood and all. But it's kind of like more towards that thing, with more like kind of like bands like Sarcophago, I would say. So yeah, and to be honest, when I was kind of like looking around a little bit to kind of like think about examples of bands that Bütcher kind of similar face paint as, like, I don't know if it's only me, but I actually had a little bit trouble there because Bütcher is actually kind of going for their own thing. So it was pretty hard and pretty difficult to find like any band that looks, you know, when it comes to like the face paint that looks exactly like Bütcher. I don't think I even found anything really. Probably there is many examples, but I actually had a very, very hard time to even find any band that was really that close. So that's definitely something that I would want to mention to kind of like give them a little cred for that. But if we would kind of talk a little bit about the themes that Bütcher usually sings about, you know, if we were gonna talk a little bit about the lyrics, these things are for example examples of themes that Bütcher usually sings about is like metal, battles, Satan, of course, vengeance, violence, world destruction, and things like that, basically. But something else that I kind of like noticed when I've been in contact with Bütcher is that they seem to be pretty open-minded with these things, and they don't seem so conservative about what they sing about in that sense. They seem to kind of go for this like approach that what the lyrics are and what they sing about is kind of like whatever they come up with, you know, whatever their fantasy gets them, so to speak. I mean, I doubt we will ever get a song about, you know, something like rainbows or unicorns from Bütcher, but you kind of get what I'm going for here, like what I mean. The Bütcher is that kind of band that's like, yeah, they're singing about a lot of these like classic stuff, but not necessarily, if you kind of get what I mean. When it comes to the plans for the future for Bütcher, Bütcher mentioned an idea to me that they are planning to release a kind of concept record at some point. However, they also added that it is too early to say much more than that, rather than kind of mentioning it. They did not mention what that concept would be or really anything else than that. But it was really, really interesting, I thought. And I mean, the kind of like idea of a concept record from Bütcher does sound very, very interesting in my opinion. So for the record, sort of, I definitely encourage this idea, and I would definitely like to see this from Bütcher. But I suppose we will just have to see what happens with that. However, as a great thing though, is that what is guaranteed, however, is that next year in 2023 we will get another full-length record by Bütcher. Even if it's not a concept album, it will definitely be a new record in 2023. And since I'm a big fan of Bütcher's earlier work, I'm definitely very, very excited for this. So you should absolutely keep your eyes open for that. And I know that I will absolutely keep my eyes open for it. So if I would kind of like recommend you to kind of like check out some songs by Bütcher, I would probably say something like Iron Bitch for sure, Thermonuclear, Road Warrior, The Devil's Breath, and Viking Funeral. I think those songs are pretty good beginning to kind of like see what Bütcher is all about, you know. Or I could also like mention a little quick that if you want something really blood, fire, death era Bathory style, then in that case the title track 666 Goats Carry My Chariot is definitely for you. It has that kind of a long and cool intro, like a little bit reminiscent of something like A Fine Day to Die by Bathory. So if you're a big fan of that song, you definitely need to check out 666 Goats by Bütcher. I would also kind of like to add here that it is reminiscent, but not a rip-off or anything like that. So it's more, I would say it more as an homage to Bathory and that stuff rather than a copy. So it's kind of like, check it out and you'll understand what I mean. It definitely is a great song. With that being said, I believe that it is time to wrap things up. I appreciate you listening, and if you liked this episode, then make sure to follow us at Metal Verbalizers, and we will make sure to keep giving you more episodes like this one. If this episode would result in you checking this band out, then please tag us and let us know. We would appreciate it a lot, and it is a great way to both support us, but more importantly, the bands. We will be back to you next week with another Verbalization.